Look what we've got. We got pennies. So I haven't had much luck lately. I've been asking every time I go in and pick up coin, and at best I would get like half a roll. Sometimes I get like 2 or 3 rolls, or not half a roll, but half a bundle. So I just been kind of searching those on the side and not obviously recording them. So I was out the other day and I was in two different branches. The one that I was dropping my coins off, I asked them if they had any pennies, and they had $30 worth of pennies, I think. And then I went and picked up a whole bunch of boxes from another branch, and they had $25 worth of pennies. So I actually went through a bundle. I think I went through a bundle of these ones already. And as I was going through, I wasn't recording. I just, I had the itch and kind of wanted to go through them. So I found these, nothing too exciting, but we did get some older ones. We got some 1944 and a 48, 1950, a 52, and a 63. And we did get one wheat cent. So, out of an entire bundle, that's nothing too exciting. It's not like some of the hunts that I've had. But you know what? I thought I might as well turn this into a hunt. So we're going to hunt all of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you in a bundle at a time. We'll start with these ones and see how we do with these. And I'll bring you in at the end of the bundle unless I find a really interesting roll, and I'll let you know what we find. All right, that's it. Let's move into this, and I will bring you back as soon as I'm done this bundle.
Just have a good time, live a good life. What you mean when you say you are new heights? What you mean when you play like all night? Nightlife is a highlight. I'm a fly guy, this is skyline. I don't got the time for my problems. I got the time to dissolve them. Music is my oxygen, I'm breathing, no stopping. You remember my oxygen, the music when it's dropping. Some of these vibes provided in these lines. I am to design the rhyme, checking my mind. Music be sky, I got ahead of my time. Deep prescribed, cause I feed it full of flies. Money ain't nothing, you turn it into something. The sun for the money make you look real funny. Put my own name in discussion, I'm a hustler. Work real hard to show you that I'm coming. Let me tell you that I'm going.
All right, one bundle down, and nothing too exciting. We did get one from the 40s, 1946 here. Got a couple in the 60s, some young heads. Check them for the hanging versions. They're not on there. I did get two doubled date ones. So the 1978 has a doubling on the date. So this one has some slight doubling on the 7 and 8. Or actually, no, this one has it on the 1 and the 9, which is unusual, actually. Usually it's the last two numbers that get it. And then also the 1979, I had it up here, but I moved it out of the way to look at something else. So this one has doubling on all four numbers in the date. The 1, 9, the 7, and the 9. As you can see, the doubling is nowhere else on the coin. I don't see it anywhere else. And it is just on the date. So that is an error for this particular coin to look for. It is relatively common. I find lots of them with that doubling of various. Sometimes it's just on the 9 or the 7. But this one has it on all four, which is kind of cool. And then this 1978 actually has the doubling on the 1 and the 9, which is unusual. Usually it's the 7 and the 8 that has it. So I'm not even sure if that's a recognized variety at all. But anyway, I'm going to hang on to both of those. I got a pretty decent 1975 there I'm going to hang on to as well. That was it. So yeah, the reason why, for those of you that are American and don't really kind of know why I'm excited to get pennies, the penny was discontinued in 2012 in Canada. So we no longer have them in circulation. We can't get them anymore. So you just got to be really nice to your bank tellers. And hopefully, as people turn them in and they roll them up, they sell them to you instead of taking them back to the mint. So, because the mint's just melting them down for the copper. One more bundle down, and we got a few more finds. So we got a 51, a 53, a 57. We got a 63. We got a 1942 wheat cent. And we got a 2-cent euro as well as our first foreign. One more bundle down, and we got just a few more. So there are few and far between, and we're not finding too exciting. But we did get a 1944 S wheat cent here, so that's not too shabby. And we did get another doubled 79, and then 62, a 55, and a 53. Well, that's the one batch done from one of the banks, and just a couple more in this. A couple interesting ones, though. A pretty beat up 1940 to get another 1963, and we got another wheat cents. It is a 1946, I think is what it says on there. Yeah, 1946. So always nice to get the wheat cents in the 40s, and yeah, we're moving on to these rolls now. One more bundle down, and not too much here. Just some young heads, 59. Couple 59 62s and a 50 wheat cent. But I did get a couple things that are interesting in The 1967 has a doubling that you can look for, and you can see it quite clearly here on this 1967. It's not the nicest 67, but actually, yeah, you can see it right up into a little bit in the Canada. But mostly on the dates, commonly where you'll find it. But I have a even nicer looking one. So the quality of this penny is much nicer, and the doubling on it is really clear. So you can see the doubling very clear all through the date there, and then all through Canada as well. The entire word is doubled. So that's cool. I don't think I've seen one where all the doubling has happened all the way across Canada as well as the date. I've got a couple where it's pretty clear on the date. But yeah, so that's a nice doubled 1967, and it's in good shape, as you can see here. So I will keep those two and add them to the collection. So we got 3 bundles to go, and we didn't get a whole lot in that one either. We did get a 1940, which is nice to get into the 40s, 63, and we got another Euro to add to our collection. It is in pretty decent shape, but they're all very new, of course. Stick that over here. And then we got a couple interesting ones. So I guess I've got one on the microscope here. Now this is the first one that I've come across that may qualify as this extra spine. So Coins in Canada lists a couple different varieties that are not listed anywhere else. So I've been watching for them. This is the first time I've run across one that qualifies. It is slightly different than the picture on the Coins in Canada website, but is the only one I've ever seen with die clash kind of in that fork of the branch there. And so I'm going to set it aside. It is in kind of rough shape. Not very nice looking at all. So if there is any extra value there, which there likely isn't, it probably won't be much just because of the condition. But anyway, it does have that extra die clash in the middle, and so I'll keep it for now. Also found in 1963. It is in reasonable shape, and it does have the hanging 3 variant. Well, now the 63 is by far the most common of them. You can kind of see the light reflecting off that the hanging 3 there. I don't know why it doesn't want to come up on it here. See if I can get that to show up. There you go. Kind of see it there. So anyway, the hanging 3 variant, but it does have this big blob of gunk in the 9. So anyway, I will keep that one as well. They are relatively common as far as the hanging 3 versions go. 2 bundles to go, and this bundle was a little bit nicer, actually. We got some interesting stuff in this one. So we did get a 1939 King George VI, but very nice older penny. We got a bunch of the young heads through the 50s and the early 60s there. And then we got 3 US S minted coins. So I don't normally get S minted coins. It's very rare for me to find them. I've got the odd one over time. And so we got a 71, a 70, and a 69, all in order. The 70 is in great shape. I've checked all of these for doubling. None of them have the doubling error. They would be very expensive coins if I did find the doubling. This appears to be a large date, 1970, from what I can tell. And one of the ways to tell that, so I'm no expert on US coins, that's for sure. But my understanding is that a small date will form kind of a line right across here, and all the tops of the numbers will all match up that line. And you can see that 7 is a little bit lower than the 9 and the 0 on either side. So that does make that a large date or a low 7. I think that's what I've got there. If anybody has better information, they can let me know. And then we also got some more wheat cents. So we got a bunch of them, a 1940, a bunch of 1950s, and then we also got a 1919. So that is the oldest of the hunt so far, so really quite nice. And then we got a foreign new penny there as well. So, all right, well, we got 2 more to go, and that's not too bad. Well, we're done, and it's always kind of sad when you get to the end of it, but this has been a long hunt, doing, over 2 boxes worth of pennies. There's so many varieties and little detail things you have to be watching for as you're going through these. These hunts take a long time, so I'm kind of glad we're done. Didn't get a whole lot. I didn't bring you in on the second last bundle because I think there was just a couple young heads in there. And then we got a few more in that last bundle. And then we did get a couple 1940s, a 45 and a 46 wheat cent. So that's all right. That's kind of nice to get. It's always fun to see the 40s in those wheat pennies. So I'm going to stick those up here, and I'm going to reorganize, and I'll bring you back. All right, I got them all sorted out here. So we'll start off with these, the wheat pennies. We've got a bunch of 1950s, wheat pennies. They're all fairly common dates. We got some 45 wheat pennies, and then we got this 1919 102-year-old penny. I'll take that all day long. As we move up here, we've got all the young heads and the early King George VI pennies. So we got 139, a 40, a couple 44s there. They're pretty bad shape, 46 and a 48. I did check the 48. It's the common large denticle version. Then all the young heads here. So I did check the 53, and we do have the one variety. So this is the shoulder fold variety. What you're looking for is that I and the DEI right there. And so that is the shoulder fold version, whereas the no shoulder fold version is got the flared top to it. So I'll stick that one in here, and you can see the flared top on the no shoulder fold version. And then I also checked the 55, but they're all the common variety, which is the reverse of this one. Then none of these had the hanging versions on it. We've got a bunch of 63s as usual. They're relatively common. And then over here with the rest of the US is, of course, all the S. So I'm in Ontario, so I don't see the San Francisco Mint coins very often, so I pull them all out when I find them. And I did check all these for the doubling, as I mentioned. They're not. And then that was that 44S that I found earlier as well, so that's kind of cool to find. Then down here are these are all the variants. So this is a 78, a doubled 78. 79s, I got a bunch of them, and they're all in reasonably good shape, and they all have some doubling on the date. And then the 64 is that's the one with the extra spine. So again, it's a variant that's not recognized by a lot of the grading services, but it is on the Coins of Canada website. It's the first one I found, so I hung on to that. It's not in great shape, but I'll keep it anyway. 1963, this is a hanging 3. Actually, these are both hanging 3s, and this one here, of course, a little bit nicer looking coin, but it's got this big black spot in the middle, so that's unfortunate. And then the last but not least are the 1967s. So these commemoratives, they have a issue with the doubling on the date, and again, relatively common to find, but you do find different stages of it. So this one here is a little more typical of what you would find in 1867, 1967. You see the doubling on the date, but it's just on the date. It's not really on the rest. You can kind of make a little bit out, but it's really not on the rest of the lettering there. But this one is actually, the doubling goes all the way around. So the doubling is a lot more pronounced. And then it is also all the way around on Canada as well. So now, to me, this looks like machine doubling, but the thing is that they're on a lot of these. Like, you can find these relatively common among the, like, I'd say probably 10% of the commemorative pennies that I find have some form of doubling on the date. So I'm not quite sure what caused that, but anyway, I pulled them all out. There's not that, maybe not even 10%, maybe it's more like 5%, but I do find them relatively often. So, but that was a nice one because it's in good shape and it has the doubling all the way around. So that's it. We got a decent haul out of that. Some nice varieties here, and that's always fun to find. And a 102-year-old 1919. So, all right, thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and notify if you want to be notified when my next video comes up, and I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.